What's up, Scrappy peeps? It's Del from Inkie Quill, and today I'm up with a no mixed media layout for you. I'm using a cut apart sheet from the Cocoa Vanilla Bohemian Dream, which I freaking love. It was a beautiful collection and it has a lot of purple in it, which, as I've said before, is like the Voldemort of the scrapbooking world. I'm also trying to use up some older paper pads. I did a video, I think, a few weeks ago using a Studio Calico one, and here's another one. And this paper pad, it has some papers in it that, look, you guys know me. They're not my cup of tea. Like this orange cloud, it's not really my shade, but I'm trying to use it up, trying to get through some of my stash. And a good way to use up papers that you don't really, you're not the biggest fan of, is to use them for layering, because you only see a bit of them and yet you use a lot of them, which is very handy. So I'm using some of the oranges, and I don't really know why I picked orange. Part of it could have been that I made this little DIY embellishment that you can see just under my tape roll there. And I made that with some of my Patreon chatterboxes. We did a DIY embellishment day, and I had them sitting on my desk, and it caught my attention, and I thought, I'm going to try some orange. I'm going to go a bit out of my comfort zone here, because you know orange isn't one of my go-to colours. So I'm using my double-sided tape. I get a lot of questions about my tape. I just get the cheapy one from Spotlight here in Australia. I think it's 3 rolls for about $12 or $10, something like that. But any decent double-sided tape would work well. I like to use my ATG, but I think at this moment we were fighting and Aaron was reloading it for me, and I was being impatient because Archie was sleeping and I wanted to get as much crafting done as I could in the little space that he sleeps. So I'm using actually some graph paper, as well as some, I think the other one was just note paper with dots on it, just to give a few extra layers without really wasting too many pretty papers, I guess you could say. And I'm going through the cut apart sheet, and I decide to go for these 2 purpley ones. Now, my photo has nothing to do with purple or orange, except my hair's orange. I'm wearing grey. I'm on grey steps. And is Archie wearing grey or white? White. He's wearing white. So it's a very neutral photo. So if you're stuck with what colours to use with your photos, have a look at the photos and see if there's a colour that stands out. And if there isn't, you can go wild with the colours. Now here I did run out of double-sided tape, and so I just grabbed my glue because I wanted to film and was too lazy to get up and get some tape. I'm filming these videos, you'll notice the polka dot tablecloth. I'm actually filming these ones in my lounge room. And the reason why I did this is because Aaron had 2 weeks off work over Christmas, New Year's and a bit of January. And I needed to catch up with some videos and filming, but I didn't want to be shut off in my craft room, so I took over the lounge room. If you go over to my Instagram, you'll see there's a new feature on Instagram where it's the highlights of your Insta story, and I did save, I think, some of my couch crafting, what it looked like. So I'm just going through the embellishment pack that came with the Bohemian Dream line from Cocoa Vanilla and picking out a few florals, because I make this big giant cluster, and it's a bit bigger than I usually do, but I think it really does work because the photo is so basic and simple. There's not really many detailed elements to the photo. I felt like I could get away with a big gigantic eye-catching cluster. And I know some of my layouts I do purely make for the artistic process and to make them look pretty. But if you want more focus on the photo, maybe minimize the cluster size a little bit, because this one's quite large. But I really do enjoy it. And I decided it needed something else. There was a lot of large embellishments. So there was that large flower that I did the cluster on, the big blue leaf, which I really do think made it because it tied in the darkness of the photo. I just felt like it needed like a tiny detail added to it. So I grabbed a couple of washies. I think that orange floral may be from an older Planner Society kit that I used to get, possibly. And then I love this washi, oh no, not this one. I did a blue one. I think that's could be a Happy Planner one. And then there's this really skinny one that I'm desperate to find more. A subscriber sent me a roll and I've gone through that, and this is my second roll, and I'm desperate to get more of it. So if you know where I can get really skinny washi tape with gold hearts, let me know in the comments below, because I need more. I decided to then go for a bit of an L shape of sprinkles. Now you can see with my embellishment cluster, I do already have that L shape. So the top of the L's the big purple quote, and then the bottom of the L is that the leaf down the bottom. And I decided to extend both of them and just add a few little sprinkles, because that's one thing that I do notice in my scrapbooking. I like to balance the size of the embellishment. So if I use some big ones, I always make sure to contrast it with very little ones, and I think that way it kind of looks a bit more balanced, and it kind of doesn't look as plonked on, like it doesn't belong there. It makes it all, it grounds it all, and that may make no sense, but in my mind it makes sense, and I hope I said that properly. I like to do big and little things. I just think it makes the layout also a bit more interesting, rather than just having all the big things. So I'm adding a few different pieces. I've got some tiny hearts and hexagons from a Reset Girl Whimsy Banners and Arrows sheet, an older one. I'm also adding some of those little, they're kind of like enamel, those little hearts and stars that I always use. I also do add some wood veneer, I think, in a moment, but basically just any tiny little sprinkles that I could get my hands on. Now, I know that it is harder to come by these little tiny elements. Sequins would work perfectly if you wanted to replicate and scrap lift this idea. Sequins would be a perfect way to get those little tiny sprinkles onto your sheet, your cardstock, your layout. And I'm also trying to use up some enamel dots. I have so many enamel dots. I am an enamel dot hoarder. And the reason for that is they're so expensive here in Australia. They're probably about anywhere from $12 to $15 for a tiny little sheet, unless you go to the reject shop and you get the cheapy ones, or Spotlight used to have an off-brand that also had cheap ones as well. But the American brands, like the Crepe Paper or I think Simple Stories had some. They're usually $12 to $15. So the hoarder within me is like, this enamel dot is worth 50 cents. Is it really worth putting on my layout? So I do tend to hoard them a little bit, but I'm trying to use them up, especially the big ones. I have trouble using the really big ones. I think I did a layout, because I flipped through it the other day. I did a layout where I did a lot of circles, and I used enamel dots, the big ones, for that. I think I might have to do another one of those. I'll see what I can concoct and come up with. So it's time to figure out where to put my title, and lo and behold, there's not a lot of space going on in this layout because that embellishment cluster is so huge. So I do a vertical title, which is not something that I usually do. Now, I didn't bother checking that I had all of the letters for the title here because it was the orange ones. I knew that I wasn't going to be run out of any of them anytime soon. So I used these old ones from my stash. They're Amy Tan. And I wish more of the American crafts companies would do these again. Amy, if you watch this video, please bring out some more of these letters because I use them a lot. And she had another set as well from an earlier collection too. And I really like them because you get so many freaking alphabets in one packet. It's easy to store, easy to take with you to crops, and have a lot of options to work with. But I also kind of like that you have the same font with different colours because you can do a lot of fun title ideas with that. If you'd like to see me use this pack of not sponsored at all, it's just from my stash and I want to use it up. If you'd like to see me kind of do a layout using multiple coloured of these fonts, let me know in the comments below. I decided to call this one Outside Lover because Archie, unlike his mother, I think he's going to be an extrovert. Now, I am a fully admitted introvert. I'm as introverted as they come. I think I've said before, oh no, I said it on Patreon. How we spent New Year's Eve is Aaron picked out the proposal to watch on the TV, and we watched the proposal together, and we're in bed by 10 p.m. So we're introverts. We like our couch. We like our inside time. The best day for us is a cloudy day with rain, but Archie, on the other hand, he's an outside person. And look, we do associate with outside people. We have lots of friends that are outside people, but it's going to be different. It's going to be very different, I think, when he gets older, because he loves trees, he loves the sun, he loves wind, he loves all the things that I don't. So that's going to be an adventure. So I decided to call this one Outside Lover, because he definitely is. He's a little outside goofball. So I decided to add a little bit of journaling down the bottom here. I am trying to include a bit more journaling, but see, the thing is, a lot of these layouts are all intermixed. I don't know if you are new to my channel, you might not know, but I combine my project life and my layouts in one album. I have one flip through on here. It's for January 2016. If you search Inkie Quill flip through, you might be able to find it. But hide shine, shake, 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 shake your hide shine, shake your hide shine, tangent. But you might be able to find it. A lot of the time I don't put too much journaling on my layouts, because I have journaled on my project life pages, which are right next to it, usually with some photos from the same event, the same day. So that's why I don't do much journaling on my layouts. But it's all done, and I love that purple. I'm sorry for the glare. My light was very close when filming this. But I love the splash of purple, and it proves that you can use orange and purple for layouts that have nothing to do with Halloween. It's all about the shade and the shapes that you use, and just adding a few extra colors in there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.